The 2017 Royal Rumble is around the corner. Let's face it, we love WWE, even though we know not everything is real shush, we love it. So I decided to talk about the top 10 best wrestlers of the Attitude Era. Because let's face it, some of the best Royal Rumbles happened during the Attitude Era. Let's see what we've got. Hello beautiful geeks, how is everybody doing today? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, weekend, afternoon, evening, bathroom break, whatever you're doing, I don't judge. Thank you guys for watching. Today I'm going to bring you the top 10 wrestlers from the Attitude Era. Now, before we start, I just want to mention that I'm going to try to stay focused mainly on the Attitude Era. Some wrestlers, this is the time where they boom. So I'm going to tell you up front, certain wrestlers like The Undertaker, who started way back and became famous and, boomed during that time, are not going to be in this list. So just keep that in mind. However, it was really hard to make this list. There's so many good wrestlers, so many classic Attitude Era wrestlers, but we did our best to put one together. And I want to thank Angela Wilson for writing this episode for us. Thank you, Angela, from the Geek Fortress. You're awesome. Without any further ado, let's get right to it, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful geeks. Which are basically the same, but You suck! You suck! You suck! Did he though? Although his theme song was eventually altered to include the words "you suck" thanks to Edge, this superstar didn't suck, did it? The Olympic hero entered WWE in 1999, fresh off 2 gold medals he had just won. The first Olympic hero to really arrive into the WWE. He soon enough found himself in the main event spotlight when he began a feud with Triple H. And as everybody knows, Triple H is the main muncher over there. So you start a feud with Triple H, you're in the spotlight. This man came around, started doing his ankle lock, his freaking Olympic slam and everything. And he was smart, he had integrity, he had intensity. Things that we look in a wrestler which make the Attitude Era what it was. A fantastic gem of wrestling history. Now, Angle secured the gold by winning the WWE Championship later on. And the rest is history. Everybody knows him now. Currently wrestling for What Culture Wrestling. We're hoping to see a special appearance from him in the Royal Rumble, although that's hoping a lot. However, he will get inducted in the Hall of Fame for the class of 2017 this year before WrestleMania. You suck, but you really don't, so thank you, Kurt. He's good. It is true. It is damn true. So there you are in the middle of wrestling, and then this man puts a dirty suck in his hand that's been sitting in his pants with his sweat and his man juices. But we loved it. Of course, we're talking about Mankind. As long as you were not in the receiving end of it, it was really entertaining, you really enjoyed it, and let's face it, it looked awesome. Now, the man behind the mask, Mick Foley, has had a lot of faces through the years, such as Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Mankind, amongst others. And general manager recently of SmackDown, of Raw, currently going on right now. So we have this man. He is a piece of history. We can all remember when The Undertaker threw him down from that top cage and then his tooth went up to his nose. This man was not afraid to take it to the next step, such as the fight where he had with Edge, when, he fell through the fire tables and then the thumbtacks, and this man was not afraid to die or to get hurt. I guess the insurance was better back then. I don't know, Vince, you tell me, text me, call me, bro. I don't know what's going on, but whatever it is, he took it to the next level. He said, no, that's not good enough, broke that barrier, and went up one more. This is why Mankind has made this list at number 9. We love you, Mr. Mankind, and you are awesome. Here comes the money! Here comes the money! Money, 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 money. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The boy wonder, the prodigal son of Vince McMahon. Shane McMahon could be known by many things, but he was not a coward. Let me tell you, he would jump from places that I would only look at and get vertigo, for God's sake. In addition to labels that he had, he was known as a daredevil, as a risk taker, and multiple times Shane O'Mac just jumped from the top of things, like I said, that you should not be jumping from, bro. I don't know how your daddy let you do these things. He was like, are you adopted or something? I'm just kidding, Shane. I love you. Don't hate me. Like the Geek Fortress. In SummerSlam of 2000, he was in a fight against Steve Blackman. He goes to the top of the Titan throne. That is feet up in the air, guys. That is high. That is like sky high. And he jumped off it. What? Wow. It was actually more like he fell, but we're gonna keep it with jump because it sounds better. So yeah, he jumped. He fell. In 1998, he became the member of the corporation, which was basically all the big guys from WWE. So he started his life as a heel. For those of you who don't know, heel is a term for a bad guy in wrestling, and face being the term for a good guy. But if you guys are watching this video, you probably do know that. Otherwise, welcome to the wrestling world. Eventually, engaging in huge feuds with people such as Taz, The Big Show, and even his father, Vince McMahon. This guy rose to the picture and became a fan favorite, especially when he got to one coast and then jumped to the other coast with his famous coast-to-coast move. This man is fearless. He's like another Mankind in the making, except that this one was a billionaire. But he didn't care. He was like, jump! Jesus grabbed me. Yeah, that was Shane O'Mac. Even though these superstars started their careers separately, once they got together is when things got extreme. Of course, I'm talking about Team Extreme. The Hardy Boys and Lita started their careers separately. Of course, Lita started with S.A. Rios, and the Hardy Boys doing a thing of their own, with Gangrel pretending to be vampires, drinking blood, and classic WWE stuff. I mean, we do have an Undertaker man who rises from the dead every now and then whenever he wants to wrestle, and then just rests for the rest of the year. Once these three joined forces, they became an unstoppable force, kind of like Juggernaut, who just kept going, and once they grabbed momentum, it could not be stopped. Twist of Fate, followed by a Swan Dive, followed by a Moonsault. Thanks to Lita for that. Now, these superstars brought a different level of flying into the picture. Now, everybody loves a good flyer. Duh. Most of the times they're face, but the best part about a flyer is that they risk everything for that one move. And if they do one thing wrong, game over. Famously known for being right next to Edge and Christian, as well as the Hardy Boys in the first ever TLC match. That is a table, ladders, and chairs, ladies and gentlemen. It was not fun at all. And they did not just compete once in this match. They competed again on another one similar to this. Just as bad, just as painful, just as ouchy. In the women's division, Lita shined like a bright star, going on a feud against Trish Stratus, which when she first came off modeling, they wanted a place to put her in, so they put her up against Lita. Trish Stratus, who started as a heel, and then Lita started as a face, so you got face versus heel. That's what the fans love. This is awesome. This feud with Trish would go on and off for 6 years. After this, Lita would get involved in a feud with Stephanie McMahon for the Women's Championship. She would go on to win it and go down in history as one of the best, if not the best, women wrestler in the history of WWE. For those with the benefit of flash photography, here's a 5-second pose. Of course, we're talking about Edge and Christian because they were awesome. Personally loving Edge, being one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Edge and Christian debuted in 1998 alongside Gangrel, people just like to be vampires. They like to be vampires too, I guess. Edge and Christian, the vampires. It wasn't until they broke apart from this Twilight thing that they became more famous and well-known to the WWE Universe. They had a charisma that could not be matched. They, if you guys want to compare it to the charisma nowadays, maybe you could compare it to the New Day. But they were so engaged with the crowd, and they were such good faces and heel. You would love to hate him, and you would hate to love him because they were so cool. Just like the people before this one, the Team Extreme, they competed on that TLC match that I mentioned before, which was bloody, amazing, high fly, risky, ouchie, and more ouchie. And did I forget to mention that they won both times of the TLC matches? Edge and Christian? Yeah, take that one to the bank. 7-time tag team champions, Edge and Christian were a force to be reckoned with. We miss you guys. That's who we have at number 5, ladies and gentlemen. Kane, the Big Red Machine. First appearing in the pay-per-view Bad Blood in Your House in 1997. Back when WWE was still WW, that other letter that we're not going to say. He ripped the door clean off of the hinges during a Hell in a Cell match between his brother, The Undertaker, well, his on-screen brother, and Shawn Michaels. What followed was a dark feud with The Undertaker about this whole sanity and insanity thing about him having been the one who burned his face, and that's why he had the mask. And it was just good television at the time. When you got chokeslammed by this man, over 6 feet tall, 6'10" to be exact, and then he brought you up to about 7.5, 8, and you head down. Listen, wrestling might be a little fake sometimes, but that hurt. You took that like a champ, or you didn't take it at all. I've been chokeslammed by my friends on hard floor, which I shouldn't have done, because you know, do not try this at home. But I've done it, and it hurts a lot. Yeah. Kane became the personification of fear. Later on, forgetting about the feud with The Undertaker and combining forces to form the Brothers of Destruction, one of the best tag teams in the history of the WWE. Now, destruction, fire, everything, it's what was left behind when these two were together in the ring, outside the ring, or in the locker room. Kane still makes appearances here and there in the WWE, however, he is nowhere near what he used to be back in the Attitude Era. But still one of my top wrestlers. I love you, Kane. I hope I can meet you someday and give you a big hug. And maybe you can chokeslam me. What? After this man came into the picture, the WWE was never the same again. That's right, we're talking about good old Y2J, Chris Jericho, ladies and gentlemen. Debuting with The Rock on the ring. The Rock was like, who that? And then Chris Jericho be like, what's up, bro? One of the best debuts in my personal preferences. I love that day. I remember watching that. I'm being really excited about this Y2J guy. He is one of the only full-time wrestlers who's still around to this day. He doesn't look the same anymore. He decided to get rid of the long hair, now having short hair. Jericho burst onto the scene in 1999 after weeks of mysterious video packages which show a countdown. So he took the whole Y2K thing and made it his with the Y2J new logo that they created for him. So it made him awesome, it made him epic, and you wanted to see what the hell was going on. The good old Ayatollah Rock and Roller went to fight some of the greatest people in the WWE, such as The Rock, China, Triple H, and many, many other. This man has been in almost every single match the WWE has to offer and has almost fought with everybody in the roster. Having the Lion Salt and the Walls of Jericho, some of the best moves that are out there. This man created a name for himself and made sure he broke every barrier that came his way. Also one of my personal favorites, and making it to this list because he is awesome. He became the first undisputed champion in 2001 at the pay-per-view Vengeance, which which he still brings up to this day. He will never let that down. I mean, I wouldn't either, but you know. So Jericho is one of those guys who still around, and he brings back that nostalgia about being there, because you've seen him for so long, and watching him wrestle nowadays and do the code breaker and things like that, and he hasn't changed his attitude. He's great, whether he's face or he's heel. He's amazing. He has the charisma, and I just want to give him a hug. I do. Guilty. Chris Jericho has conquered every milestone put his way. He has been on every era of wrestling since he debuted, except for the old times. But again, ever since he debuted, things were never the same again. We have made it to the top 3, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys have liked this video so far, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to share this video using the hashtag #GeekFortress. And if you guys want to see more wrestling videos such as this one, leave it in the description below, and I will do my best to make them happen. I would be amazingly honored if you guys ask me to do more wrestling videos, top 10s, profiles, whatever you guys want me to do. Put them in the description below, and I will sure I make them, because wrestling is life. At least for me, I still love wrestling. I don't care who anybody says. Don't judge me. Go wash your hands. It's time to play the game. Sorry. Of course, we're talking about Triple H, ladies and gentlemen. 9-time WWE champion, headliner of WrestleMania, corporate businessman, husband of Stephanie McMahon. Good job. Triple H has done it all. However, back in 1997, Triple H was just beginning to make a name of himself, starting as this arrogant wrestler named Hunter Hearst Helmsley, later on becoming Triple H, get it? HHH. This man started in the spotlight alternative, meaning he was not in the spotlight at all. He evaded the spotlight, nobody liked him, and it wasn't until he revamped himself a little when things change. That started basically when his name got shortened to Triple H, and he decided to join the Generation X. Yeah, with Shawn Michaels and everybody else that you guys know from the X, such as Road Dogg and China. Hunter was gone and Triple H was born, and ever since then the crowd has supported him, whether he's face or whether he's heel. You hear that time to play the game, and you're like, ah! I know I am. Controversy followed as more members were added to the X, but one of the biggest was the addition of Stephanie McMahon and the whole marriage between Triple H and her in Vegas and all of that. If you guys don't remember, please check the WWE Network. It's really fun, and I think you guys would really love it. For those of you guys who know what I'm talking about, you know exactly which wedding I'm talking about, and you know exactly the things that Triple H did when he was with the X. But basically, he marries the Buzz's daughter, and then they become the authority figure. This started one of the most dominating partnerships of all time, the Hersley and McMahon partnership, making them nearly unstoppable. Forming the destructive team with Mick Foley and Stone Cold Steve Austin, which did not last that long, but, you know, also one of the highs of his time. Triple H has lasted throughout the years, but let's face it, he was born in the Attitude Era. Now I have a question for you guys. Can you smell what I'm cooking? When you hear the name The Rock, most people think of Dwayne Johnson, Hollywood star, Scorpion King, The Mummy, everything. But he did not start that way. When people hear the name The Rock, everybody thinks about big Hollywood actor, most paid actor of 2016, charming, beautiful smile, Scorpion King, you know, Dwayne Johnson, but that's not how he started. Starting his career as good old Rocky Maivia, which was a mix of his father's and grandfather's names, who had been wrestlers before him. He started as this heel who was, a face, who was always smiling, going around, everybody loved him. But in 1997, people started to turn on him. They didn't like this anymore. So they decided to turn him heel. He started referring to himself in the third person. He started saying things that I don't know where they came from, but the man, he's just great in the mic. So he just started shouting things, and then people started loving him, even as a heel. This is when he became known as The Rock. And he was such an entertaining character that he just became a main event machine. He went against Triple H, he went against Mankind, he went against Stone Cold, he went against Chris Jericho, and very recently he went against John Cena, which those matches we don't really talk about, but you know. But he has been around. He eventually does little comebacks here and there, but entertaining wrestlers don't come that often. I mean, you think they do because it's the entertainment business, but some of them just leave a mark more powerful than others, and The Rock definitely left a mark which cannot be undisputed. Can you smell what I'm cooking now? Before we get to number 1, ladies and gentlemen, here are some honorable mentions. Now, a good old number 1.
What?
A good old number 1.
What?
A good old number 1.
What? What?
A good old number 1.
What?
Glass shatters. This man comes in. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. When you think of the Attitude Era, there is only one image above all that comes to mind. It's this man stunning people left and right, giving you the birdies, and then drinking beer. That is what this man brought to the Attitude Era right before it became PG and everything went downhill. Stone Cold Steve Austin was Attitude. If you heard Attitude, you heard Stone Cold Steve Austin, because he had the attitude to be in the Attitude Era. As cliche as that sounds, that's what he brought to the picture. Yeah. Technically, coming out in 1996, Stone Cold Steve Austin had previously debuted as Stunning Steve Austin, but his name was born and risen during the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin led the Attitude Era to what is known for today, and I think a lot of us could agree that he is the face of the Attitude Era. And, you know, he gave everybody a reason to go to SmackDown and Raws and all the pay-per-views to watch this man go one-on-one, sometimes with the Great One, sometimes with other people, up talking the boss, or stunning the President of the United States, Donald Trump. That's right, he did it. There's nothing more synonymous to the Attitude Era than glass shattering and the rattlesnake marching down to the ring with a purpose to kick ass. And that's the bottom line. Stone Cold said so. And that is our list, guys. What do you guys think of our top 10 WWE Attitude Era wrestlers? Let me know in the comments below if you guys liked it. Like I said before, if you guys want to see other lists about WWE or wrestling, please let me know in the comments below and I will do my best to make it happen. As usual, you guys are awesome. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like this video and share it. Check out our Facebook group. All the description is down below. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome is what I meant to say. Do not forget to stay awesome, guys. Smell what I'm cooking. And geek on. Thank you, guys. Stay awesome.